Early reviews are in for Black Adam and is absolutely getting slammed by critics. But is that something you should listen to? Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? That guy right here, and I wanted to make this quick little short video talking about the state of Black Adam because the film isn't even out yet, but it is already getting absolutely nailed by critics like IGN, Rotten Tomatoes. It's currently sitting at a 47%. If you care about that sort of thing, then yeah, that's going to kind of turn you off from the film. But I want to make this video, it's kind of an open discussion because in the past, critics and, these media outlets have reviewed movies and games, and they're not always right. So the question is, are they right about Black Adam? So if you guys have been following me for a while, I've been pretty excited for Black Adam. I think The Rock has done a great job to produce press for this. Like they have seriously done a lot of press for this film, whether it be trailers or featurettes, and The Rock constantly hopping on social media to get his millions of followers to get hyped for the film. The talk about Henry Cavill's Superman being in the film, which I think was just a major spoiler. I wish they didn't talk about that, but that's a conversation for another day. And all this, so they've clearly put in a lot of work to get people excited for this film, and I think it's worked. But now the reviews are coming in, and a lot of reviewers are saying that it's not good, it's pretty lifeless, has no plot. The action is there. Almost every review I've read has stated that it's got a lot of action. There's a lot of action. If you're looking for an action film, you're definitely in the right place. But in terms of story and story content, relevant characters, it apparently is missing the mark. I don't believe that you should listen to the critics always. I think the critics, if the general consensus among multiple media outlets is that the film or a game isn't good, I think that's air for caution. But I think at the same time, you got to make your own decision. You got to form your own opinion about things. And those who review the films might not always be movie critics or that enjoy comic book films. You see this kind of a lot, comic book adaptations where they don't get necessarily the praise that they want. I think there was a time where I think Avengers Infinity War had gotten pretty good reviews, but there were still some reviews out there that said it was a pretty mundane kind of copy paste Marvel film, and I would disagree with that. I liked it. And I think going into Black Adam, I'm kind of going with that same state of mind, that I don't want to let the reviews deter me from seeing a film that I've been excited for. So I want to take a moment to read some of the comments or read some of the reviews. What are people saying about this film? So I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now. You got some positive reviews, but you also have some pretty negative ones. One of those reviews saying he's a big bad who's big mad, although it's moviegoers who are apt to be irritated by this lame comic book based origin story. Another review says ultimately the needs of DC Universe butt up against the overwhelming star power of Dwayne Johnson, and the film ends up losing many of the entertaining qualities it might have had. And so those are some of the reviews, but then you also have other ones that are relatively positive. One reviewer saying Black Adam marks a noticeable step forward for DC's sorta kinda maybe shared universe of films. It feels and plays out in a lot of ways like a Marvel Studios film from phase 1 or phase 2. Another reviewer says, and while Johnson's natural gregarious personality is toned down to play the grim laconic Black Adam, his charisma is as strong as ever. So it seems like the general consensus is that the film doesn't have a lot of substance. The Rock's overwhelming star power definitely shines through in a film that, might have benefited from a potentially not as well-known actor. At this current point, the 47% could go up, it could go down as more people review and see the film, but should you let that deter you? Short answer, no. You shouldn't let the reviews deter you. A lot of people shouldn't even look at reviews. I think that they can sometimes have a grain of truth in them, so anytime you read reviews, you should always look at them with, and take the opinions of them with a grain of salt, because they're not always accurate. But yeah, I think overall, I wouldn't heed to the words of the reviews too heavily. I would say go in, check the movie out, make your own opinion. I'm still personally very excited for the film. I think that, I would like to see DC start to do well. I would like to see DC have a turn, start to take a turn for the better in terms of the DC shared universe. I think DC has been struggling for a while. However, I would argue that this has been one of DC's best years. And I say that because earlier this year we had, what was it? Peacemaker, right? We had, I think The Sandman is also another DC property that has done pretty well. I personally enjoyed it. You also had The Batman, which I would argue is one of the best Batman films ever made. Really good. I very much enjoyed that film. And so DC definitely, when you look at this track record, DC definitely has the potential to produce some very well-reviewed stories with great, great character development, with great stories, and actually put out some really good content for people. I think DC does have the potential. Now, could Black Adam be the next turn, or could it be a turn back in the opposite direction? That is yet to be determined, but I'm definitely going to find out. I plan on seeing this film on release date, and I'm hopeful for it. I hope that it does well. At the same time, if it is as bad as people are saying, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. I have a lot of love for The Rock. I think The Rock is great. He's got he's obviously got that big, macho, strong man personality, and I think that's going to fit very well in this film. But I also feel like having stars that are so big be the main character of a film can oftentimes be relatively harmful to the film, depending on depending on the natural acting talent of the person at the front of the screen. We can often see sometimes it can be good, like when we look at someone like Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn. That I have a lot of faith for, because I genuinely believe Lady Gaga has a really natural talent for acting. But whenever I see The Rock in films, I sometimes think about Doom. And I know if you guys haven't seen Doom with The Rock, yeah, you should definitely avoid it at all costs. Yeah, I love Doom, but it was not a good film. So I'm kind of going in, optimistic about the state of this film, and I'm gonna make my own decision, and I encourage you all to do. People with high hopes for the future of the DC Extended Universe. Those answers are going to be, we're going to have those answers relatively soon. So I'm looking forward to that. But I read some of the reviews, and it did not deter me one bit, and it shouldn't deter you either. I say check out the film and make your own decision for whether it's good or whether it's bad. One thing that does have me nervous about these reviews, though, and having me feel like maybe they are right, is that they've done a lot of work over the last couple weeks to promote the fact that subtly, not so subtly, that Henry Cavill was going to be returning as Superman, and he was going to be making his way into this film. And I feel like studios, whether it be, I think The Last of Us did it. That was a game that gave me significant trust issues because it promoted an event that would happen in the game that they purposely kind of misled you a little bit so that you would still buy the game, because they knew that if that event had happened, if they showed you that event was going to happen, or that it did happen, nobody would have bought that game. And I think another thing, Marvel kind of did it recently with She-Hulk, where they kind of promoted Daredevil being in the film heavily, or being in the show heavily, but they didn't tell you when or what episode, even though we all kind of knew it was going to be towards the end. And I think that was a ploy to get people to watch. And so when I see these reviews, and some are saying it's good, but most are saying it's bad, I'm still going to see it, and I'm excited for it. But I am going in with an air of caution, because they definitely waited till the final hour to promote heavily that, Henry Cavill is going to be coming back. When I know personally that, from what I've read over the last couple years, they have not wanted to keep Henry Cavill as Superman, which I think is a terrible mistake. I think he's a phenomenal Superman. I continue to watch Man of Steel and say, dude, why didn't they make a second one? This makes no sense. And we know, Warner Brothers' track record of just being absolutely shite when it comes to making decisions for the betterment of the viewer and for the fans. Like, they don't have a great track record. Like, they are about making money. And so I think, that has me going in with the air of caution, thinking like, okay, I think it's funny that they've been promoting, Superman to be in this film without promoting it, but they haven't really kind of kept it secret, versus if they just let people go in and see this film, and then Henry Cavill shows up, and it just destroys the internet. Like, the internet would have exploded, with that news. But they haven't really hidden it, making me believe that they knew that the movie was ass, or that it potentially could have been asked, and they wanted to make sure that they got as many people in to see it as possible. That's just a theory. I don't know if that is true. We're definitely going to be mentioning that again, and that'll be my whole review video. That'll be a good portion of my review video if that is the case, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm still going in with the era of caution, but I'm still overly optimistic. I want to see it. If it's good action and a decent story, you know, I think, you know, I'm not going to judge it too harshly, but we'll see. I'll have my review out after I see it this weekend. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you excited for Black Adam? Do the reviews deter you at all? Are you going in cautious, or are you just, I'm excited either way? Let me know down in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. I greatly appreciate it. It very helps out the video get seen by more people. And yeah, in a couple of days, we'll be talking about Black Adam once again, whether it was good or whether it was absolute shite. So keep it locked to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss the video. And I appreciate you guys for being here and sticking around. But as always, thank you so much for watching. My name is That Guy Rye, and I will see you in the next video.